Good evening, everyone. Welcome to On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Hopefully, everybody's doing great tonight. Back on our normal night here, Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern. A little after 7:30 now, but usually 7:30. So back on our normal night after we had a great interview with Rolando Garcia last week from Long Beach State University in Long Beach, California. But ready to get talking some some pro baseball again. Had some interesting things going on in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we had the Hall of Fame vote. That was the last couple of weeks. That's why I got my 2009 World Series on. I got my Yankees hat on. But we had a couple players uh, get elected for the first time. Obviously, my man CC gets first ballot Hall of Famer. That was pretty big. I love CC. Obviously, massive part of that 2009 World Series team. Man's a gamer. I mean, 3,000 strikeouts, 251 career wins. I mean, I think it's like, when watching CC for me, it's like, and you go back and watch his career, and like when he's in the postseason, you're seeing this guy throwing 2-3 days rest. Now you don't see that at all. So I mean, he was, one of the last greats. You don't really see. I know. I mean, I was going when I went in, like, I was like, hey, you need a solid 3-man rotation in the postseason. Now we're seeing four. We're seeing maybe sometimes five. We're seeing 4-man rotation. Go on 3 days rest. You don't see it as much. But CC, love him. Glad he got in. Obviously, what he's third. I think he's like top three in wins for a black pitcher, African American pitcher, which is pretty good knowing some of the names that we've had on that side. But I love that. Obviously, the big one was Ichiro Suzuki, uh, first ballot Hall of Famer. Obviously, one vote away from being unanimous. I don't know what some of these writers are doing. I'm like, first off, you don't make Derek Jeter unanimous, who's obviously like the most career postseason hits in baseball history, 3,000, and then you don't make, he's got the most hits in Yankees history, which is pretty amazing, with the names the Yankees got. But then you don't make Ichiro Suzuki unanimous, which is, I mean, that's just as bad, guy. 3,000 hits. Uh, Obviously, I mean, if you're looking at some of his stats, I mean, shoot, 3,000 hits just to mention, and he did it when he didn't come over until he's 27. So I mean, that's what are these guys doing? They nitpick this shit. I mean, Jeter's unanimous, Ichiro's unanimous. Obviously, Mo, we obviously greatest closer in the game. We stick to baseball here, please. Uh, so I mean, I was a little surprised Ichiro was in the unanimous Hall of Famer. That's it. That's a little criminal. Him and Jeter. Ichiro should have. We all the Jeter thing has gone and passed. He should have been unanimous, but Ichiro. I mean, this isn't even to mention all the hits he got in Japan too. The guy came over at 27. It's I don't know. These guys nitpick. You find one little thing you don't like and you don't give them the vote. I'd love to to I wish they would do. This baseball writer who are these two baseball writers who didn't vote for either of these guys, because we all know Ichiro. I mean, I'm looking at some of Ichiro's hit stats in 2004. 26 in April, 50 hits in May, 29 in June, 51 in July, 56 in August, 50 in September and October. I mean, that 2004 season, that's absolutely nuts. I mean, we're not even talking about what he does on the international side. I mean, so obviously Ichiro out by one vote. CC was 86.8%, and then the other one was, Astros closer Billy Wagner got 82.5, with Beltran getting left off. I don't know, Andrew Beltran or Andrew Jones. That's bizarre. Chase Utley. A-Rod will never get on. A-Rod's at 37.1, so he's moving up a little bit. Manny, 34.3. We'll see. Andy Pettit moved up like 10%, which moved up a lot, but he won't get on. He's at 27.9%. He won't get on neither A-Rod, because they both had, A-Rod definitely did Pettit had that one little thing with steroids as well, so he won't get on. I don't know. I mean, anybody see the 2026 Hall of Fame class? The first ballot Hall of Famers from next year was abysmal. Like Ryan Braun, Hunter Pence. I mean, Cole Hamels was good in his time, 2008 World Series MVP with the Phillies, but not a first ballot guy. Ryan Braun, he won't get in, obviously, because of his PED suspensions. So his resume stayed. Alex Gordon, I love Alex Gordon. And like, speaking of college baseball, I grew up watching Nebraska baseball. I absolutely love Alex Gordon. You ever want to go? It's still on my bucket list. I really want to. It's not the same, but I really, really want to go to Omaha College World Series. I grew up watching that Nebraska team way before college baseball was really popular. Now it's getting a little more popular, but I love Alex Gordon, but not a first ballot guy. Obviously, he's got that World Series. Shin Su Chuch, no. Edwin Encarnacion, no. Hunter Pence, no. Matt Kemp, no. Rick Porcello, we all know his story where he missed out that no hitter by the ump making the bad call. I mean, I don't see a single first ballot guy on there, so that's a pretty poor class. But I mean, I'm looking at the guys who missed. I mean, Beltran missed, Andrew Jones missed. That's a little surprising. So they should get on, both next year. Jones, obviously, we all know what he did with the Braves. Beltran with multiple teams, the Astros, the Royals, the Mets, the Yankees. I mean, he'll get on. But, I mean, Jones, maybe not a first ballot guy, but he should get on next year. Obviously, we had a little baseball news. Obviously, who did the Dodgers just sign? Besides Sasaki, the Dodgers got Roki Sasaki. What a surprise. What a surprise. And just speaking about that, I mean, you just got the World Baseball Classic 1, 2, 3, with Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Sasaki. Geez, you're just racking up these Japanese players. And there's more to come. Sasaki signed with the Dodgers. Now, no surprise there. I know everybody was talking Padres a little bit, and they bowed out. And then Blue Jays were right there. The Blue Jays are trying to get everybody. But, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it was the Dodgers. Not a surprise. Just added to them. Police viewers out there, I know it's frustrating with the Dodgers. Yankees did it too in the early 2000s. So I'm not going to talk about that. They spent a lot of money too back in the day. But, I mean, it's only been, 3 times a team with the highest payroll has ever won the World Series. So, I mean, baseball is a freaky sport. It can definitely happen. I mean, any team can win. It doesn't matter if you're the best team in baseball, highest payroll. Just all about how you come into October. Obviously, we saw it last year with the Dodgers. They won, but that's one of the 3 times. So, I mean, it's frustrating because that team is unbelievable, and that pitching staff on paper looks daunting. It looks insane. And you add Sasaki, which makes it that much more nuts. But, I mean, anything can happen in baseball. Obviously, we had Race sign. I'm going to kill myself who the Dodgers just signed. Who did they just sign? If anybody wants to jump in there and say who they just signed, who's that reliever? I'm so mad at myself. Reliever, Kirby Yates. They just signed him. I mean, just added that bullpen, which is so strong. But I mean, the bullpen was depth, and then you add Snell. You add Snell. You got Glass now if he comes back. You add Ohtani when he comes back. You have Yamamoto. You have Sasaki. You have Gonsolin and May coming back. Will they sign Kershaw back? I don't know. Kershaw's been sitting out there for a long time. I don't know if they end up signing him. I mean, I hope if they don't, he retires. He's an all-time Dodger. I can't see him in any other uniform, but I really don't know. But I mean, we had a little more baseball news today. Rays signed Ha-Seong Kim, 2 years, $49 million. I'm mad because I wanted Ha-Seong Kim on the Yankees, but that's a great sign for the Rays. Position flexibility, guy can play second, short, third. Average hitter, solid defensively. They kind of need that after what they lost a couple years ago in their shortstop. So I mean, that's a good sign for the Rays. Obviously, we got couple big names, but the two big ones are Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso, still sitting out there. One's a Scott Boras client, still sitting out there. Where we think they're going to end up, where we think Bregman's going to end up. I think it's down to Tigers, Red Sox, Dodgers right now for Bregman. Been reported 6 years, $151 million was the first initial offer from the Astros. Now that they said it's still on the table, I don't know if it is or not, but I've heard they've been kind of going back from the Astros. Astros have been starting to step back. They was a Paredes from the Cubs in that Kyle Tucker trade, so maybe they go that way. There's a couple places I identify, obviously, for Bregman to look. I would take him on the Yankees. I think that would be an unbelievable way to end the offseason that they've had, because I think it's been a pretty solid offseason. They need a third baseman. I would love him on the Yankees. Maybe they can get him to a shorter-term deal. Maybe get him a 3-year deal with a opt-out in the third, which these players love. But I don't know. I would say Tigers, Red Sox. They've been they've been a little quiet ever since that crochet, so I think that'd be a good sign. But I mean, are they falling in love with the prospects? We're going to talk a little bit later. Obviously, MLB.com just put out their top 100 prospects, so we're going to talk about that a little later. Red Sox all over that list. I think that'd be a good sign for the Red Sox. You can throw them at second base, and then there's a prospect that they got who's supposed to be pretty good, who could either move positions if necessary or get the necessary time. But I think the Tigers make sense because they have their former manager, A.J. Hinch. It just all depends what they want. How much he wants. Give him that 3-year deal with that opt-out. I take him on the Yankees in the heartbeat, move Jazz to the third, back to his natural position, second base. I think the Tigers make most sense. Young team coming up. You get this proven October guy who can hit, solidify third base, even though, I think that'd be a good sign. Obviously, we got Pete Alonso still sitting out there. Scott Boras client still sitting out there. Mets, Blue Jays. Mets seem to be at an impasse with him. They don't have an offer on the table. Blue Jays are supposedly going hard for Alonso because they're trying to get Max Scherzer, and Scherzer wants a proven winner. So they're going hard for Alonso, who they could put in that DH role. Obviously, they signed Anthony Santander, so that'd be a solid 1-2-3, Alonso, Vlad, Santander. That'd be a solid little middle of the lineup there. To add to whatever they got. Obviously, Jack Flaherty's already out there. We all know what he did with the Dodgers during the World Series. I think the Orioles maybe ends up going back to the Tigers. Tigers definitely could use that guy behind Tarek Skubal, Cy Young winner. I think that would be a solid sign for them too. But I mean, we got a couple guys still sitting out there, and Bregman, Alonso still sitting out there. Two big names that haven't really gone anywhere. Where do we think they're going to end up? I mean, two pretty big names that we thought would go quick, and they're still sitting out there. And Alonso, obviously, we all know what he did with the Mets, but he's still sitting out there, and it's sounding like the Mets are more comfortable putting I'm so mad. I can't remember his name. Putting their third baseman at first and opening up that third base spot. So it sounds like they're more comfortable with that. But obviously we had the MLB top 100 coming out prospects. Obviously They put Sasaki on there. I don't even need to talk about Sasaki. He's going to be in the MLB, obviously. We're going to kick it off with Roman Anthony. I know Rob, my former co-host, is all pumped up about this guy, and he loves. He's already all over Twitter talking Red Sox baseball. Yeah, we're talking Red Sox baseball, Rob. Roman Anthony, obviously, right now ranked the number 2 prospect in baseball. They got him coming up sometime this year. Obviously, he's a 284 career hitter, batted 291, 291 over 2 levels, 396 on base percentage, 498 slugging, 18 home runs. I mean, I could definitely see this guy. I wonder where he's from. He's a Florida high school guy. I wonder where he's from. I'm sure in Miami area, but I mean, I do not know. I should have looked more deep into that. But I mean, I could see this guy coming up this year, and really, I mean, if he comes up, that's a very young outfield. But I mean, that's the future outfield. If you bring him in with Jared Duran from Long Beach State, we talked with Rolo last week where he is. Long Beach State putting out some really good players, and obviously Jared Duran is one of them right now, tearing up the MLB. You put him with Willer Abreu, and you put Roman in. That's a solid outfield and very young, and you'd have a lot of good club control with those guys. But, I mean, the guy's got an advanced swing, a quick stroke, which is really nice. He tends to pull the ball sometimes. He flashes plus run. But, I mean, he profiles good corner, which fits in perfectly what the Red Sox want, because Jared Duran solidified in that center field spot. But I could see this guy, for me, I could see him getting some more reps in minor league, slowly bring him up, and then bring him up was that month period, like month and 2 weeks, I think it is, where then you get an extra year of service time, which a lot of teams love to do. So I could see that. But, I mean, either way, that outfield, whenever Anthony comes up, that's a solid young outfield looking good. Obviously, number 3 won't be up till next year, Walker Jenkins. Dylan Cruz is another guy. I mean, we're talking about what this guy does. What did this guy not do in college? 2022 co-player of the SEC co-player of the year, 23 Golden Spikes Award winner, 23 College World Series. Did have a down year, batted 218, but I see this guy making an immediate impact on a young, emerging Washington National team. Fits well with their plan. So, I mean, that's right with what the Nationals want. Young guy. This guy's just a gamer. The ball pops off his bat. Beautiful swing. But he did have some issues with chasing. So, I mean, but I could see this guy coming up quick, maybe get a little time, couple more ABs, and then bring him up. But that fits well with what the Nationals are doing. They're young. Next guy on the list would be Jackson Jobe, who we saw a little time in the Bays, got a little cup of coffee, was with the Tigers there during October. But, I mean, you need someone to pair with Tarek Skubal. And right now they don't really have this. This guy sits 99, 100, 89, 88 to 91 cutter, and changeup has seen a lot of solid developing that solid changeup, good separation from the fastball. If this guy comes up, which I don't see him coming up right away, maybe they get him a couple more games down in the minors, which a lot of the constant theme for these guys is I think they all need a little more time in the minors. Give them a little more time. But, I mean, I could see him coming up, but also it's like you're trying to get another year of service eligibility. So I could see him going down, get a little more time, getting some more innings in the minor league, then bring him up. That solid 1-2 could be the future of baseball with Tarek Skubal. he still has a little time to develop, but I see that happening. Up, back on the Red Sox, back on the Red Sox train. We got Christian Campbell back on that Red Sox train. I mean, wait, I mean, 22. It batted 330 over 3 levels last year. I mean, 439 on base, 558 slugging percentage, 20 home runs, 142 hits. I mean, this he's a 327 career hitter. I mean, he's solid. I think this is where I would go. I don't want to see this happen, but if I was the Red Sox and in that Red Sox organization, I would go sign Alex Bregman, and you could put him at second base, or maybe you keep him at third and put Devers at first, and maybe you DH Tristan Casas. But I would think the reason that I think Bregman would be a good sign is to give this guy a little more time, a little more seasoning in the minor leagues, and don't rush him up. Obviously, he was the MLB Breakout Player of the Year in the AA Eastern League MVP accolades in his first full season. So I mean, this guy's quick. Stole 24 bases in 155 games after swiping 4 in 45 college games in college contest. So that's pretty impressive. There's a chance he does break. I don't think it is, and that's why I think Bregman would be a good signing. I would hate it, but it would be a good signing because we're talking baseball here. It would be a very good signing. I think he needs a little more time to develop. I don't think they need to rush him up. Also, people, some scouts are saying he could be more fit for the outfield. So there's also that. The next guy on the list, kind of off the Red Sox, a little off the Red Sox, but I mean, we got Andrew Painter, but that guy's been off injured all the time. Carson Williams from Torrey Pines High School in San Diego, California. Obviously, this guy's got great defensive stuff. Was a two-way stud and two-way guy in high school and has some pop off the mound, but he's a shortstop. 256 hitter, 352 on base, 469 slugging. Did have a high strikeout rate in the minor leagues, 28.5% strikeout rate, but he does have a high upside because his defense and he has a good floor close to the minors. So I could see him coming up quick. Maybe the Ha-Seong Kim puts a little damper on that signing, but I don't know. I mean, this guy, that defense plays. So, I mean, we shall see. Next guy on the list. For me, I'm just going off of, there's guys I've spoke of already. There's guys that I see could come up. I see Kobe Mayo right there coming up. I hope he gets a cup. This guy needs a shot. Basello, I don't know where he ends up playing. I mean, there's guys on this list that are all high up on the list, but they're not going to be, serviceably being able to compete with the team this year. A lot of higher ranked. Next guy I'm looking at, Bubba Chandler from the Pirates. Obviously, this guy, was 10-7 over 2 levels. He's 12-21 all time career in minor leagues. 3.08 ERA. A solid WHIP. Average against is 189. WHIP is 102. I mean, 148 Ks last year. I mean, if this guy works out and it comes up, I mean, that's a nasty 1-2-3. Obviously, you got rookie year Paul Skeens, you got Jared Jones, you got Mitch Kelly, and then you would add Bubba Chandler, which is something Pittsburgh would love. I mean, he's rapidly evolving from athletic and to a thrower, complete pitcher. He touches 99, sits like 96, 96.7 with the fastball. impressive vertical break. He's got command. They challenged him to focus on his secondary pitching, which he's responded to. Much improved slider, 86, 87, mid-80s changeup. Occasionally throws a little curveball, but it's an athletic right-handed pitcher who has a chance to form a very good 1-2-3 in Pittsburgh there with Skeens and with Jared Jones. I mean, his strike throwing continues to flow, but that 1-2-3 would be really, really, really solid there. Next guy I want to talk to, Matt Shaw. I think Matt, 284 over 2 levels. I think he starts as the starting third baseman for Chicago Cubs. I think that Padres trade was foreshadowing for Matt Shaw. So I see him solid speed, aggressive nature, base runner. Played second base as a freshman in Maryland, but I see him coming up. Who's the next guy? Well, the one guy coming up who I think he's probably out of, is Jason Dominguez. Obviously, we all know the story about Jason Dominguez, the Martian. He will be the starting left fielder for the New York Yankees. He was lived up to, compared to the hype of Bo Jackson, Mickey Mantle, and Mike Trout. Terrible comparison to just put that guy on because it's taken him a long time. Obviously, signed for $5.1 million out of Dominican Republic. What he had was it 4 home runs in 8 games, but he's got electric bat speed, from both sides of the plate. He needs to work on that. He's got to keep on that discipline to post. He carries considerable more, 5'9". He stole 21 bases in 22 attempts last year, including 5 in the majors. He's probably more a center fielder, but he won't be playing center field. He'll be in left field with the Yankees. I'm hoping for a big year from this guy. Obviously, we got Marcelo Mayer, obviously big shortstop with another Red Sox. Marcelo Mayer, big shortstop with the Red Sox. Obviously, this guy's huge. 6'3", big, profile. But he might profile better as a third baseman. And maybe that goes into the Red Sox plan because they got a lot of. If you're seeing a constant theme, this Red Sox got a lot of talent in the minor league system. But he's got a nice left-handed stroke, smooth hands defensively, feels that ball nice. He still needs to make a little adjustment, so I also see him. I also see him get a little more time. I don't know where he's gonna play. He's currently blocked at shortstop with Trevor Story. Second base, he's too big for second base. Third base, you got Devers there, who's there for a long time. I don't know where he plays. I think he's that. Obviously, we got next guy in the first overall pick, Travis Bassana. I think he will be the starting for second baseman this year for the Cleveland Guardians, especially with that Jimenez trade. So I see that guy was a stud in college at Oregon State. Obviously, I really like Rhett Lauder. Got a little cup of coffee with the Reds. Maybe he gets a little more time because of that Brady Singer deal. I think he could break. If anybody's watching college baseball, he's going head to head with Paul Skeens in the College World Series. So I think he is another guy who will break. I think he will break with the A's would be Jacob Wilson. The guy is a contact machine. Obviously, son of former big leaguer Jack Wilson. He'll be the starter. He has freakish contact rate and very low strikeout rate. But on the note, there's a handful of guys. Coomer Rocker's one. Maybe we get a Chase Burns, J.J. Weatherholt, Jack Caglione. I'd like to see Jack Caglione Maybe we see Charlie Condon, Dalton rushing. Maybe a guy, Kyle Teal, I could see him getting up there. That big trade, Colson Montgomery. There's a handful of guys that I could see getting up, but these are just maybe a Nick Kurtz from Wake Forest. There's a handful of guys that see him getting up, but these are guys that I think will get up and make an impact. I think they'll make an impact with the roster. And, I think Anthony needs a little more seasoning time. I think Cruz, you can bring him up. Basana, I think that my thing, and what I really like, I think some of these college guys, you get them a little seasoning in the minor leagues, get them used to the MLB pitching, and then bring them up. I think they're more physically mature and ready to play in the big leagues. So, I mean, I'm really looking at Pizzana this year as one of the guys I think he'll get pop, and I think that Jimenez trade was that. But hopefully, what pitchers and catchers report in 3 weeks. So baseball, I smell it right around the corner. You're getting some good stuff. Baseball's here, almost here. Felt long, but actually didn't feel that long because I was doing this every week. So it's been going pretty quick for me because I've been waiting for baseball season ever since our terrible World Series. I've been waiting for baseball season. So it feels like it's been going quicker for me. But please, everybody, like, comment, subscribe. I'm Russ Morgan. This is On Deck here on FTSN. You guys have a great night.